Zoom, the boom continues. So I had the chance to dive deep into Zoom this week. Really enjoyed. I always like to, share my victories.
Better sleep. Sorry about that. I was trying to run your CNBC and it threw out an ad. Imagine that.
Yeah, no worries about it. I had the chance to jump
on
over there with CNBC to talk a little bit ahead of the earnings. But listen, what happened next was the big moment. The Zoom boom continued. The company absolutely destroyed expectations. Where did I go?
You're still there.
Oh my God, my whole computer just vanished. Anyway, I had the chance to talk about it, Pat. Sorry about that. I actually lost my whole screen, which is super weird. But now I'm back, everybody. You missed me? I'm back. All right. And came in almost 50 cents over on EPS. Blew out earnings, 369% growth on a year-over-year basis. And basically the third consecutive quarter in the upper 300% growth rates, Pat. Unbelievable finish to the year. The demise of tech in the terms of pricing on stock is highly overspoken at this point. While different things are spooking people in the marketplace, it's not the lack of growth. Tech is growing, and that's exciting. One thing that did catch my attention was the company is expecting a little bit more of a normalized growth in the next year, with COVID sort of playing down, Pat, with us starting to return to work, with our kids starting to go to school, with life looking a little more normal. I'm not even going to take the risk of the wrath of proclaiming that we're going to be normal, but more normal. The company is looking at potentially seeing some of the growth slow. A couple of key numbers from the quarter: 467,000 paying customers with 10 employees now, 470% up from the same time last year. 1,644 customers now over $100,000 a year in trailing 12-month spend, and a huge 130% conversion of their net dollar expansion. That means their freemium model is working at a really good rate, and that's what people need to pay attention to. The growth is strong. They launched end-to-end encryption, Pat, which is something, the company got really beat up for some security woes in the past year, the Zoom bombings, the China whitelisted servers. Company did manage to really overcome a lot of that. You don't hear much about it anymore. The security updates have been put into place, so that's strong. Where am I worried, Pat? I'm worried what the heck the market's going to say when they only grow 40% in the first quarter, or only grow 50% in the first quarter. It's insane. But we have become such an emotional, unstable group of people at times that we say, oh, wow, they grew 300%. That should happen forever. That's not realistic. But the company overall has really been able to be successful in the wake of big competition from big names: Cisco, Google, of course, Microsoft, and we'll talk about that later. But the results are in, the growth is in, the profit is in, the company's on its own. Pat, they're sitting on a mountain of cash. And I want to know who Zoom might acquire, because that's what I'm seeing next. If the company really wants to become a competitor to Teams and Google, it's going to need to expand.
Yeah, I really thought that they were going to go at some point go after Slack. If you remember, Slack was valued so much more than Zoom, and then Zoom came in, and then Salesforce gobbled up. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bidding war between the two. Salesforce using cash and Zoom using equity leverage to be able to do that. But I think that unless it wants to gobble up some productivity platform and try to take on Microsoft, they've got to go one way or another to keep that to keep that going. And they will need to, there was a little bit of a magic about Zoom, and then that, it just felt so easy to get connected. Now, early on, that ended up to be, some security challenges and privacy challenges. And, they spent a year kind of figuring that out. The big question is when people do go back to their corporate work, let's say they had standardized on something like Cisco WebEx, will they just everybody will be back on WebEx, or will there be crops of people that IT will enable and allow to go elsewhere? Zoom has created a new market, I think, which is giving people the smaller businesses and even people like governments, small governments who hadn't typically done a lot of video, who were forced to do the whole govern from home thing. So whatever it is, it's super interesting. And although the pandemic sucked, it did increase innovation in this collaboration space, probably advanced it 5 years in one.